Are you struggling to turn scales into memorable licks and solos? If you are an intermediate guitar player, chances are you are making it way more complicated than it needs to be. If you are stuck practicing scales endlessly, but still feeling frustrated, stuck and wondering why you don't sound musical yet, this video is for you. Today I'm going to share musical shortcuts I've taught countless intermediate players, shortcuts that will help you finally break free from mechanical playing and start turning simple scales into real musical licks and solos without wasting years of scale practice. Now to start, you need to understand why most intermediate players struggle to sound musical. And one of the biggest reasons most players get stuck is because they rely too much on practicing scales, thinking that if they just keep running up and down the patterns, eventually they'll be able to solo better. But the truth is, scales alone won't get you there. If you want to create memorable licks and solos, you need so much more than just knowing where the notes are. You need dynamics, phrasing, technique, all the real ingredients that make a solo sound alive and emotional. And the problem is, you can't develop those skills just by running scales mechanically. You develop them by studying how great players use simple ideas to turn scales into music. That's why today, instead of giving you more scale patterns to memorize, I'm going to show you how learning few simple licks can completely change the way you approach soloing. In fact, let's dive straight into the first examples, taken directly from a solo by Eric Clapton in the song Crosscut Saw. The scale he is using is just the A minor pentatonic. But pay close attention, because even though he is sticking to a simple scale, it doesn't sound like someone just running a scale up and down. It sounds like music because of how he uses phrasing, dynamics and subtle bends. Now I'm going to play the first 4 licks from the solo, and as you listen, I want you to really notice how he bends into notes instead of picking everything straight, how he uses slides, dynamics and vibrato to make it feel alive, and how he uses pauses to make each lick a statement, not just a string of notes. Let's check them out. Did you notice how even though the notes come straight from a simple A minor pentatonic scale, they didn't sound like a boring exercise? It already sounds like real music, not just a scale, right? And that's the magic of phrasing. And you don't need new scales or some crazy technique to do it, just a few simple licks that will teach you how to think musically. Let's break down a few easy moves you can steal right now to instantly sound more musical. First, instead of playing long scaly phrases like many intermediate players do, something like this. So instead of playing like this, focus on fewer notes and turn each phrase into a meaningful statement. Use bends, vibrato, dynamics and repetition to make even simple phrases come alive. Something like this. Can you feel the difference? I hope so. Another thing you can start experimenting with is something we can actually learn from that very first lick. Instead of always starting your phrases right on the first beat of the bar, like a lot of intermediate guitar players do, try starting a beat earlier or even 1.5 beat earlier. It completely changes the energy of your lick and it makes it feel more natural, more musical and less predictable. Something like this. As you heard in the examples, I kept similar rhythm pattern going, I just changed the notes within the A minor pentatonic scale. That's why learning music by ear is so powerful, because it helps you internalize these rhythm patterns subconsciously, so they naturally show up in your playing. Now you can actually see the same timing trick happening in the next phrase of the solo. And what's even crazier about this lick is it's just straight A minor pentatonic, no fancy notes. But when you add a little bit of rhythm and start a little in front of beat 1, it completely transforms into an interesting musical phrase. Something like this. So did you hear that? It was just straight A minor. But if you add a little bit of rhythm into that, it sounds like a phrase, right? Now, if you really want to see how powerful simple phrasing can be, check out this next lick. Clapton literally uses the same bend, the exact same move, 7 times in a row. No crazy scale runs, no complicated, no choices. But because of the way he uses that same bend, he actually builds tension and it feels like the phrase is growing and pushing forward. And notice something really cool. He's bending on the E, but he sneaks in the B string into that bend, which gives the note a little extra dirt and grind, and that sound fits perfectly into blues. It sounds like this. Now that you have seen some of the tricks Clapton uses, let's put it all together. I'm going to play the whole solo section for you now, and as you listen, keep noticing where he bends into the notes, where he uses slides, how he starts phrases slightly off the beat, and how repetition builds tension and keeps it exciting. Alright, let's hear the whole thing. Now, here is something really important. If you just play through these licks a few times, you might get a little better at phrasing, but that's not where the real growth happens. To really make these ideas your own, you need to take these concepts, the phrasing, the timing, the dynamics, and use them to create your own music. And one of the best ways to start is to write your own 12-bar blues solo using the ideas we just talked about. To show you how simple it can be, I actually wrote a quick solo myself based on exactly the same concepts, and I will play it for you now. Quite good, right? See how it's not about copying licks note for note, it's about using the ideas to create your own voice, right? And here is something even cooler. You don't have to stay locked into the original positions where you learned these phrases. Thanks to the system I teach, you can take these same phrases and move them all over the neck without getting lost. If you want to see exactly how that works, check out the next video and I'll break it down step by step so you can start applying it right away.